All right, guys. So before we get into this and talk about the combine, I have something I found this morning that I just can't wrap my mind around. It's just a simple fact that I didn't know my whole life that now I know, and I don't know. It's just kind of jarring to come to terms with. Did you guys know you only breathe through one nostril at a time?
Really?
Yeah, you don't breathe through two. You don't breathe in and out. You don't breathe in both of them. And then out, you use one of them.
Really?
I'm looking at it right now.
Ear, nose, and throat doctor now?
Well, and I'm an int. Yeah.
That's not true.
That is true.
It's 75-25, I think. That's what it's saying.
Okay, therefore
it's not
you
fully.
Well, I'm not saying all the time you just breathe through one nostril, Justine. I'm not saying you got a cyclops nose. What I'm saying is the workload gets used one at a time. So even if it's 75-25.
I'm seeing 75-25.
I thought it was 50-50.
Look.
I thought it was even.
You're talking to somebody with a deviated septum. I'm not.
Oh, yeah. They strap you to that Darth Vader machine. Did I ever tell you about the first time I saw my dad's CPAP? I didn't understand what it was when I was a kid. And this is the old school one, not the new one now, where it's just the thing that, they put on Harry Potter when he goes underwater. This is the one that had the tube. It was the size of a vacuum.
Were you born with that deviated assessment? Were you born with it?
Nah, I think I got hit in football.
Mm. Oh, I thought maybe you just got it I don't know, just you get COVID or something.
My nose goes this way.
Well, no, the first time I didn't realize what it was. My father used to snore.
When I do this, I can breathe good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
Out of both nostrils.
Nice.
Well, again, it's 25%.
I breathe in and out of my eyes.
We growing up, my father used to snore so bad it would rattle the house.
Mine too.
The word, I'm worried.
Yeah.
Type snoring. And so then all of a sudden it kind of got better. And so I walked in there, man, I was probably 10 or 11. I didn't understand the science of it. And I walked in there, and he's just laying in the bed. I thought something was wrong with him. I thought he was in a coma or something. And it's that. It was that one. He was hooked up to life support or something like that. Scared the hell out of me. I mean, just full mask, Darth Vader style.
Open the door, the smoke's everywhere. It's dark in the background. You see a red lightsaber pop.
I just used to wonder, man. I'd hear him snoring, and I'd be like, how is that possible? Even the animals, sometimes it'd scare them out of sleep. It was that loud. CPAPs, man. You got a nice one though, right? You got the.
I mean, mine still looks like a vacuum. Mine sounds just like the one you just described.
You got the old school one?
I mean, it has a tube and it looks like a vacuum and it makes noise and I could probably have a lightsaber.
What about you? Ever tried that Navage thing where you shoot water through one side of your nose and all the stuff?
Mines.
What color would your lightsaber be, David?
Wait, you're talking about a neti pot?
Yeah,
I for sure have one of those.
Does that work? I've never tried one. I'm kind of
Define work.
I'm kind of nervous.
When you can't breathe, you'll try anything.
I mean, I'm afraid of what's going to come out. I seen a video of this spider come out of this dude's ear the other day. It just absolutely scared the hell out of me. Speaking about scaring the hell out of you, Bryce Young will not throw at the NFL Combine. We're going to have former Alabama quarterback John Parker Wilson join us to talk about it. The Commanders cut Carson Wentz to create cap space and possibly save their organization. And LeBron James could miss several weeks with the Lakers with a foot injury. Like it matters. I'm Jake Crain, and welcome to Crain Company. The NFL Combine starts today, along with Pro Days upcoming, and they are fun to cover, don't get me wrong, but they will continue to be the most overrated and useless events that we have in sports. Now, why, might you ask? Well, the answer is pretty simple. They don't wear pads, they don't wear helmets, they don't wear anything that simulates the actual equipment they will play in. Also, if you've ever thrown a ball with pads on, then you know how different it is when you throw without them. It makes no sense to throw without them, and it gives somewhat of a false read. Also, running the 40 makes absolutely no sense without equipment on. That sport is called track. Moving laterally without equipment is just as useless, along with jumping without the real weight. You really don't know. Now, not using pads to see how someone moves in football is like judging a porn star based on a staring contest. It doesn't make sense. Why do you think every coach ever says that 7-on-7 isn't even close to the real thing? The reason why? There's no equipment, and that changes everything. Now, there are some great 7-on-7 teams that run through the summer, but they get obliterated when you put the pads on because it's not even remotely close to actual football, similar to the combine and pro days. Now, people say, well, it gives you a good comparison because everyone is equal. Well, you know what gives you an even better comparison? Exact numbers on how these guys move and operate when they're fully dressed. We don't test drive cars with only 3 wheels. We don't take batting practice without a bat. And we shouldn't judge future football players based on how good they are running track in their underwear. And that's just common sense to me. I'm going to bring in another guy that believes in common sense and has an old school CPAP. I just found that out. David Ken, former Michigan quarterback, and my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. David, I'll start with you. Explain it to me.
I think you're mostly right.
Okay, good, David. All right, Blaine. Right. So what do you think?
I mean, Tom Luginbill, I think, hit the nail on the head the other day as well when he said you're always going to have some NFL GMs who overweigh the NFL combine, right, rather than the film tape that you've seen all season. As far as guys running the 40 and lifting weights, look, I'm fine with that. Time a guy, even if he doesn't have pads on and their times are going to be the same. But you are 100% correct on throwing without pads. It's not even close to the same thing. I mean, if you're going to have shoulder pads on in a game, when you're doing a motion like this to throw a football, why wouldn't you test guys with that same manner? Right? That is a legitimate piece of equipment that you are having to have on your body when you throw, which is why ultimately in this scenario, I think Bryce Young is making the right decision. Now, I know some people are saying, well, Bryce is not the consensus #1 overall pick. I mean, we don't even know who's going to have the #1 overall pick right now. And Bryce, there are some concerns for GMs that Bryce is undersized. So if that's the case, take every opportunity you can to throw in front of scouts. I do understand that. At the same time, Bryce Young's best attribute was showcased during the season. Not only when he has pads on, but when he's down late in the fourth quarter to Texas and he comes back. That's Bryce Young's best attribute. Put that up front. I wouldn't go out there and try and go toe-to-toe in just a throwing contest with no pads on against Will Levis and Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud, because those are the other guys who are going to throw this weekend at the Combine. So I think ultimately Bryce Young's making the right decision. He'll throw at his pro day, and he'll still be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, when it comes to Bryce, like from a throwing standpoint, like you said, he's proven it all. Going out there and watching him, I think it could only hurt him, to be honest with you. I really think it could only hurt him. Having a guy throw without pads on is like having a pitcher pitch without a glove. It's very doable. It's easier to throw without pads on, but it's not realistic and it's awkward. You don't want to send a guy out there without a glove on to pitch because it's weird. The balance is off. The weight is off. It's not what you're going to have and what they're going to do when they're doing what you pay them the most for. Now, Blaine, when it comes down to size about Bryce Young, this is something that I talked about on a radio hit yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to talk about size with a guy like Bryce Young, then it better just be about staying healthy. Because when you throw, because the knock against small guys outside of, well, they can get hurt easier, is that it's harder for them to throw through windows on the offensive line. Well, I got some news for everybody on Bryce Young. Alabama has huge offensive linemen too. Like, it's not like he was out there playing for Sam Houston State with a bunch of 6'2" tackles. They've got a bunch of guys from Mordor walking down, looking like they're in the Immortals from 300 on the offensive line. So Bryce Young throwing through guys, I don't think is going to be a problem. But I agree with Bryce not throwing in this thing because it's unrealistic.
I mean, why would you? I mean, if you're Bryce, why would you? One, you're coming in at 194. Why not get a coat? The only knock on you is what? You're undersized. We look at the undersized guys in the league. Russell Wilson, same height. Kyler Murray, Ewok, but they're both what? Heavier set guys, right? So if Bryce can add some weight, you throw 2 weeks later. At this point, Bryce has nothing left to prove. Nothing left to prove. Anthony Richardson has stuff to prove. Levi Willis has
Will Levis.
Will Levis has stuff to prove. I mean, CJ, I wouldn't say stuff to prove, but I mean, we're still waiting on CJ to kind of get over that hump in college and winning the big games. He never did. And the thing about Bryce is, he checks all the boxes, right? Other than size, I think one of the best arm strength in the draft. 2, the best anticipatory quarterback in the draft. 3, he's basically Bill O'Brien's offensive coordinator in college. So, I mean, at this point, I understand it. I don't care. I don't need I don't need a pro day or whatever to know that Bryce Young can get out there and throw a football. That's why everybody, when they see it, all these quarterbacks rolling the opposite way, throwing it 60 yards down the field, oohing and on everybody. It doesn't matter unless you have pads on and people are chasing you.
Yeah, with the Bryce Young thing too, I think we get caught up in saying, oh, he's a little guy, so he's got to be able to be a great runner. No, that's not true. Drew Brees was a little guy. Not a great runner. Hell, look what Brock Purdy just did for the Niners. He's not exactly Daniel Jones size. So the game has changed, and when you have RPOs and the three-man surface, and you can manipulate different areas, there's ways for guys to kind of get away with that. Now, I disagree with you on C.J. Stroud when it comes to over-the-game hump. If I'm C.J. Stroud, I want you to remember that Georgia game. That's the last thing I want you to remember for me throwing. If it was me, I wouldn't be throwing at the combine. I would say the knock on me was I can't win the big one. I don't perform at the highest level. He went out against Georgia, and let's be honest, kicked their ass on offense. That's the last thing I want GMs to see if I'm C.J. Stroud of me throwing the ball was going out there and torching a defense that has 75% NFL players. So when it comes to C.J., I think him and Will Levis, I think you need to throw to show the changeup. Even though it's unrealistic, I get that, whether it's a pro day or whatever. He'll throw it 800,000 miles and everybody will ooh and ah, but I don't think that's what GMs are looking for. I think GMs are looking for how much touch do you have when you have to fit the ball in there, or you don't need to throw the fastball to a guy that's closer to you, or that's close to you. You know, I know Hendon's coming off that injury, and it's kind of a different situation there. But when you look at the quarterbacks as a whole, Anthony Richardson, he's going to be amazing to watch throw at pro day just because of his athletic ability. And I think he's shown more touch. But I don't think CJ or Bryce, if it's me, need to throw.
Well, I hear what you're saying about Will Levis and them wanting to see him throw the changeup. And look, they're going to ask him to make all sorts of throws. It's the combine. Well, you got the guys there, use them up. But it is an impressive thing to go out there and watch Will Levis throw fastball after fastball.
Oh, look, 100 miles an hour.
If what you do best is throwing fastballs at the combine without pads on, and that's a better attribute than throwing changeups and being great in games, then go do that and see if you can get one of these GMs to bite. We just saw Zach Wilson go number 2 overall a couple seasons ago.
Oh, they're going to
off of a couple combine throws. Really.
Who do they reach for?
Yeah, they're going to bite.
Who do the Colts reach for?
So if Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are begging, well, they're like, okay, if Bryce and CJ don't throw, that's fine because then we get more reps. Or if they do throw, fine, come on out here and let's just throw fastballs against each other.
Look, again, I wouldn't mind if they gave Will Levis a baseball and put him about 60 feet. So let's just find out. Let's just really find out.
But and then on Bryce Young's size, I think it is about staying healthy, right? That's what people are a little bit more concerned about. Not that he can't see through the pocket. Just like you said, look, Drew Brees had one of the best NFL careers of all time.
For sure. There's ways. And the offense has helped nowadays with the way you can attack the perimeter, spitting the ball out. Like you look at what the Chiefs do. You know, and a lot of these teams in the quick game and the modified run game offensively, it really kind of bails out, I think, guys that aren't exactly 6'2", 6'3", or 6'4". Well, if you got a bad sports book, speaking about bailing you out, I'm about to bail you out. If you haven't signed up for a sports book, I'm about to blow your mind. And if you live in a state where you can't gamble on sports, you probably need to move. And when you do, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, because right now, new customers can place $5 on any pregame moneyline bet and get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. That's right. It's only at DraftKings Sportsbook with our code BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Guys, used the Crain-Pythagorean theorem again last night. Hit 10 out of 11 bets. I would like to take this time to win $965. I would like to take this time to tell Nevada, I hope you guys never make the NCAA tournament. I hope you never win another basketball game again. I wish nothing but bad things upon you in the program. I hope you get found of violating some type of recruiting rule and they give you guys the death penalty in basketball. I will never forget. I will never forgive you. And may God have mercy on that entire program.
Was this Crain-Pythagorean theorem?
Yeah, they were favorited, and I took them +2. The only one that didn't hit all 10 other ones. All 10 other ones. Nevada. You don't deserve good things. You can't go beat Wyoming. All they have is Maldonado. That's it. One guy. Goodness gracious. What's going on in the Booster Club?
Yeah, you know, Nevada fans are out there that's like, damn.
Yeah, all 3 of them.
Death penalty? Damn.
Yeah. No, I want it done. I don't want y'all playing again.
Let's go to Glegby with a $1 donation. Appreciate it, Glegby. He says, I met Josh Dobbs last night. He's a super cool guy. Y'all should have him on your show. Do you think Dobbs could lead the Titans if he doesn't screw it up fashion if they get more receivers?
I mean, lead the Titans to what? I mean, are we talking about a Super Bowl? Because no. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. Lead the Titans and, win a playoff game. Yeah, I could see it. You almost beat the Jags last year. It's not like the division is just scaring the hell out of you right now. But I don't think if you're looking at the Titans to win a Super Bowl, which I know is the goal of every organization, and I know Josh Dobbs is super smart, and I know his parents look like they're from an alien planet, but I just don't think he's the guy to win the Super Bowl for the Titans.
He could build the Titans' new stadium.
You know who could? He
He's
could
an
build the
engineer.
Titans' new stadium.
Yeah.
He probably move stuff with his mind, but that's another story for another day. You know who would help the Titans win the Super Bowl, though?
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers would.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on. I want to watch Aaron Rodgers play. He's got a house in Franklin. I want to be friends with him and Vince Vaughn. And that's it.
Then he could come on our show and complain.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Iowa.
I'll do a darkness retreat with him.
I'll do a darkness retreat if that's what it takes.
He's gonna whisper at him the whole time.
I don't do darkness retreats with other grown men.
The boy
don't?
who lived.
No.
to die.
No.
Wait, not with it. Like, you're not in the same room.
Not after
Jake.
summer camp. When I was
Where's your
Come on.
mind
Get your
at?
mind out
Where's
of
your
the
head at? After summer camp?
I wonder if John Parker Wilson would do a darkness retreat. John Parker,
summer
would you do a darkness retreat?
No. That scares me a little bit.
Would I thought a darkness retreat was something like one of Saban's meetings, one of the team meetings with you guys after it didn't go good, or y'all had a bad day of practice or something.
That is a solid point. I've had my fair share of darkness retreats in my day. That's exactly right. It's in the eye of the beholder, these darkness retreats.
That's exactly right. I just can't believe that somebody pays vast amounts of money to go sit out in a cabin in the woods with the lights off. Unbelievable business model, best plan ever. John Parker, I do got to ask you though, Bryce not throwing at the combine, and the combine in general. I want you to. Cone was talking about it. I want another quarterback to talk about it. Why do we throw without pads on at pro days and combines? That's like pitching without a glove.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, look, I think the pro days and the combines, I mean, especially for a quarterback, like, you go out there and it is different. Like it's like going out there and playing 7-on-7 and only seeing that and saying, this guy's going to be a great NFL quarterback. Like there's so many other things that go into playing quarterback besides just dropping back 3 steps, having a perfect pocket and hitting the guy on a 10-yard out route, right? So,
yeah.
Like, you could see like his arm strength, but like you could see that from tape.
Yeah.
I think Bryce has played enough snaps where, hey, dude, you got it. Like we want to talk to you. That's probably a lot more or interesting for the GMs and for the head coaches than go out there and see if he can make the throws. Like, and I think it depends on where you're at. Like, I remember when I was coming out, like I would throw for anybody who wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to make it. I was trying to get there. So it's like, shoot, man, I'll do anything you ask me to. If you want to act like a DB and backpedal, I got you. But Bryce has done it. I remember Matt Ryan was a year ahead of me. Like he didn't. I don't think he did the combine. Like Stafford was the same year. Like those guys don't need to do the combine. Like they were going to be the 1-1 and the top pick in the draft. But it kind of depends on where you're supposed to be slotted. But I mean, Bryce can throw. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to ask you this too. When you look at this draft class of quarterbacks, you look at Bryce, you look at CJ, some of the top guys we keep hearing. Who's a guy that may be under the radar to you, maybe a Hendon Hooker or somebody like that you think may end up being a guy that could turn into a star possibly?
Yeah, I think Hendon Hooker, I think he's a good player. What they kind of did for the program, I don't think you can downplay that. I think, especially, if you get drafted towards the top of the NFL, like you're going to a subpar team, they have big draft picks for a reason, right? And Hooker's a guy that's kind of turned this program around and gotten them back to be, top 5, top 10 in the country. I think, his athletic ability is awesome. He can throw, he can run, he's got good pocket presence, he's got a great arm. But, I think a lot of times we forget that all the intangibles that going into quarterback is probably just as important as going to be able to have the biggest arm in the league.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But to me, like, hey, if I'm drafting a guy to be my franchise quarterback, you're spending the first round pick on a quarterback, you got to hit on these guys. The GMs know you got to hit on them. And I want a guy that can lead my team, that can lead the locker room. And I think Hooker's a guy that can do that. Obviously you got the big names at top, but Hooker's impressed me the past couple of years I've seen him play.
Yeah, well, I've said it since, watching the first couple games of last year. He's the most dangerous hooker in the United States since Eileen Warnos. Go ahead.
Hey, John Parker.
Guys.
Yeah. John Parker, there are some other Alabama quarterbacks having success in the NFL. Jalen Hurts just made it to the Super Bowl, was an MVP finalist. You got Mac Jones up in New England. And I want to talk about Tua for a second. You know, clearly the skill set is there, and the Miami Dolphins have put weapons around him with the Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle combination. Do you think moving forward, Tua can find a way to stay healthy and continue to be a starter in the NFL, or are Tua's best football days behind him?
You know, I think that's obviously the biggest thing is staying healthy, and I think, you know, as he goes through his career, you know, and as any great quarterback goes through his career, learning how to stay healthy is important. Learning how to protect yourself, you know, knowing that, you know, it might be 3rd and 12 in the second quarter on week 4, and it is a big play, and we get it, but we got to get you through the season. We need you to play in the playoffs. We need you to play every snap of the season. And I think that's one of the things that he will learn along the way. Obviously, he's had a lot of injury troubles, but I think, you know, you take a step back after the season and say, okay, my number one thing is protecting myself. And I got to do that not just for myself, but for my teammates, for the coaches, for the organization, for everybody. So I think that's the thing that you just have to learn, and you have to accept that you can't go out there and just grind out every snap. Now you're trying your best, but protecting yourself, I think, is going to be big for him. I think he's smart enough to understand that. I think he's smart enough to realize that. And then, you know, it's easy to say that in the meetings and you know, when you're just sitting in the locker thinking about it. But I think he's smart enough to take that to the field and say, okay, this is what I got to do. I know I can play. I just got to protect myself. And that just comes with, I think, thinking about it, and comes with a little maturation, which he's like, 2 or 3 years in the league now. This is his 4th year. So it's time for him to, you know, grasp that, say, hey, I got to be healthy for my guys all year long.
Yeah, well, John Parker, it's funny talking about this, and I know it's easier said than done, because I watched you play, and you didn't protect yourself a whole lot. I know college is different than the NFL, but if anybody would stand in there, I remember watching you stand in there and take a hit against LSU, and I know it's different standing there and delivering the ball and taking a hit as opposed to saying, I'm going to tuck it and run it. But, man, you took some shots in your day too, my friend.
Oh, you got to believe, man. That was part of my game, though. That was,
yeah, for sure.
It really was, like, you know, staying on the pocket and just taking a hit. And, you know, I guess I developed the ability to do that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know, that was part of it. And, you know, I think I was kind of built for that. So it was just, it was part of my game, but it was kind of needed too at the time. Kind of had to, that was all we had.
Well, you set the tone, man. Your toughness set the tone a lot for that.
And that's important, especially when you have a new coaching change.
That's true. That's very true. You're trying to
John Parker went through a coaching change. Before Blaine jumps in here, John Parker, I want to ask, you got Tommy Rees coming in as the offensive coordinator at Alabama, replacing Bill O'Brien. You're not going to have Bryce Young returning. Going to have a new quarterback under center for the Crimson Tide. How are you feeling about Alabama next season?
I'm feeling good. I mean, I think Kevin Stills is a great pickup. He was there my first year, or the first year with Coach Saban was there. I think he's a great coach, great communicator, and he's had success everywhere he's been. You know, I think Tommy Rees I think if you're going to make an offensive coordinator change with a new quarterback, is probably a good thing, right? He's learning along with the other quarterback where, you know, y'all are kind of figuring it out together. That might be half glass full the way I'm looking at it, but that's the way I'm going to take it. But I've heard great things about Tommy Rees. I mean, he's played a big program. He's been a part of a big program. And now, you know, he gets to bring, I think for Coach Saban, is a new set of ideas to the table. And that's what Coach Saban does really good, is empowering these new guys to come in and say, hey, I don't know everything. I want you to teach me what you know, and let's go form a game plan together. Saban's been good at that throughout his career. I think Tommy's going to be no different. You know, a younger guy, but with new ideas. And I think Alabama fans more than anybody is pumped about his kind of DNA and pedigree of, hey, we're going to run the ball, we're going to be physical, and set the tone up front. And I think, you know, especially today, like, you know, it was the Big 12, and then kind of everybody evolved in this spread passing attack, and now it's kind of like, okay, everybody's there. So what are you going to do different to separate yourself from all the other teams? I think this is one way to do that with getting back and saying, hey, we're going to run the ball, and then set up some passes off that run.
No doubt. We saw Georgia do it.
For sure.
Yeah, speaking of Georgia, John, if you're the Bears, are you letting that first pick go? Are you trading that first pick, or are you going to go get that thing running around in Georgia?
I don't know, but Georgia's interesting. I mean, Georgia's playing damn fullback this year. The fullback is gone, and you see a fullback out there for Georgia. I mean, look, I think they've built a great program. Kirby Smart's done a heck of a job. So, kind of like what we've seen for Alabama the past few years, where it's like, all right, if an Alabama guy's available, let's draft him because we know he's trained, he's ready to go. Like he is day one ready to play. I think Georgia's obviously in that same class right now.
You think Georgia wins the East this year?
I think obviously they've put themselves in a great position. You see Tennessee making some strides, but I think Georgia's obviously got to be the favorite to win it. They've got all the momentum. They continue to recruit well. They got Kirby Smart and the rest of his staff there that is just has got to figure it out. So I think they've got to be the favorite out of the East.
Yeah, I want to ask this one last question here, JP. We're here with John Parker Wilson, former Alabama quarterback, doer of many things. Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson? Right now, what are you leaning either way, or do you need to see it a little more in spring? We got a little taste of Jalen Milroe last year. How are you feeling about the quarterback situation?
I feel really good about the room. I think both of these guys are capable. I think they're different, which is good. Just knowing how this thing's going to play out, it's probably going to go to the week of the opening game, and we won't know about it until we see who's the first one to run out there. But look, I think Coach Saban, I love it when we have a quarterback battle because one of his things is like, hey, obviously I'm going to pick the quarterback and I'm going to pick the starter because I'm the head coach. But a lot of times you see the team pick the quarterback. You see the team pick who's going to be the guy who they rally behind. So this is, just like we're talking about the combine, it's not about just arm throws and pocket presence. It's about leadership and getting the guys to buy in and believe that hey, we got a chance with this guy to go win football games. So it'll play out through spring and through summer camp, which I think is awesome. I think it makes both quarterbacks better. It makes the team better. And then, God forbid something happens to whoever the starter is, then you get another guy right there that's had, probably equal reps going into the first week. And then it'll change and the starter will emerge. But, I think it's a weapon when you can have two really good, talented quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And sure, we're probably going to have one starting quarterback, but if you can develop two guys and have them ready, that's depth for their team that you could use. And, we did it when Tua was starting and then he gets hurt and Mac Jones comes in and it's like, hey, this guy is different than Tua, but damn, he's good. He's just as good as Tua.
Yeah, the old saying always stays true at quarterback. You win the team, you win the job. John Parker Wilson, appreciate it, my friend. Let's get a cold soda soon.
Let's do it, boys. Y'all have a good one.
All right,
Thanks,
brother.
buddy.
See ya. One of our favorites, John Parker Wilson. You talk about a tough ass, man. Just a tough ass Southern boy. That's one right there. I saw that dude wear it and deliver the pill, man.
They're to arrest those guys
times.
if a quarterback got hit like that these days.
Oh yeah, no, then some
Pressing charges.
get in jail. In some states, it's a felony. Speaking about felonies, it's a felony if you don't use cinch. All right?
Yeah, it is.
If you like to grill, all right. We know the NBA playoffs are right around the corner. They're going to start playing defense. March Madness right around the corner. We got NHL playoffs. And what's more American than that, all right? And watching sports and grilling up burgers and drinking some brews with the boys. Our friends at Cinch, it's a propane tank delivery service.
Yes, it is.
And they make it so easy. That's why it's called Cinch. C-Y-N-C-H. Like I said, they'll deliver your propane grill tank where you're at, as long as you live in a service area, right to your door on your schedule with no long-term commitment or a subscription, which is so nice because if you like to get anything nowadays, you got to sign up for some newsletter, some club or something like that. Plus, delivery is completely contactless. So if you get anxious around other people or you just don't like other people in general, Cinch can get it to you as well. Then if you're looking to exchange a tank, Cinch handles the whole process for you, so you don't have to go to the hardware store or the gas station. You can exchange any brand of tank as long as it is a standard grill size. You choose your delivery date, and Cinch handles the rest. So go online, cinch.com. That's CYNCH.com, or download their app to order. New customers can get their first tank exchange for just $10 with promo code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER. Cinch.com, or download the Cinch app. Use promo code BOOSTER. That's CYNCH.com. Promo code BOOSTER. Cone, you've used this.
Yes,
you
I have.
Live this. You love this. You need this.
When I'm about to throw down on the low country boil
Talk to
for
me,
about
dog.
30 people, let's say, the last thing I want to be thinking about is, am I out of propane? No, I'm not, because Cinch already delivered it to the front door. To the front door.
They'll
That's where
gas
they
you
put
up for real.
They gassed me up. They put it on the front door. I made the Low Country Boil. You guys ate it. We had an epic time.
That's true.
Since started it.
And I mean, look, you got 2 kids. You ain't got time for that. I need the propane tank here. Let's put it in.
Got time for anything.
You ain't got time for nothing. All right, speaking about time, it's always a good time in the Booster Club. What's going on over there, Blanya?
Dabo Sweeney in here, guys.
Dabo?
Really? He's
Dabo.
running down the hill like a dumbass?
Coach.
Dabo. I still don't know how he hadn't fallen doing that.
It's actually, to be
gonna
honest with
happen.
you, it
It's
actually
gotta
is
happen.
really impressive. I make fun of Dabo sometimes, but I do think that Ed's low-key cool, but he just runs funny.
All right, $2 donation. All right, is there any way that Carolina should trade up for the first pick? We have some solid guys that the Bears would be interested in, such as DJ Moore and Foreman, which is a no, receiver 1, and that is what Chicago needs.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It's kind of looking now like, is Lamar Jackson going to the Panthers? He's liking stuff on Twitter. I know we can be fooled. Social media doesn't always tell you. But if you can't get Lamar Jackson, I don't think you'd be crazy. Again, you're rebuilding, right? New coaching staff. I know you want to come in and make a great impression, which we've seen teams kind of switch it up. Look what the Seahawks just did. They weren't expected to do anything, and they ended up having a good year. Look at the Jets. You look at the Giants. I know there's some different pieces there. But if you're the Panthers, 2 options. 1, give me Lamar Jackson. You give me a future. You give me the first pick. You give me a future. That's what you're searching for right now. You're searching for a future. And I feel like with those two options, you can do it. If you keep it steady, not tank for another year, but try and move around some pieces. I think you got to strike while the iron's hot. I'm with it. I'm with you, Dabo.
I'm looking up here what the Panthers got for the Christian McCaffrey trade again.
All of
They
it.
receive a second, a third, a fourth. Okay, so they didn't get that additional first round, but you have so many picks lined up behind from trading Christian McCaffrey. And they're at 9 right now, I believe, right? The Panthers
Yeah, they're at
first
9.
round picks at 9.
You're going to give that up.
You have so many picks built up. You could go make a move like that. And I think, the question is, what are you going to then do with Matt Corral? Are you going to move Matt Corral too? Or are you going to have a quarterback competition with a guy who's coming off injury like he is with whoever you would take at number 1?
Look, here's what I'm looking at. If you can't get Lamar Jackson, and you'll still be able to trade up for that number 1 pick and keep Matt Corral, I think. I don't think that has to be a deal where you get rid of Matt Corral. I give the guy a shot. Like, I wish I was in that facility to what I really feel like. Call it spidey senses, call it intuition or instinct or premonition. I don't care what you call it. I just feel like Matt Corral's got a shot, man.
Well, if
something
they move
about
up,
that dude.
If they move up, that should tell us something that they're seeing, right?
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen Matt Corral since he had the injury and got drafted by Carolina. So if they move up to number 1, clearly maybe they're seeing something that he hasn't overcome yet.
Yeah, that's true. Unless there's just somebody on the board that outside of the quarterback position that they're just in love with, which I don't see. I think you move up to the number 1 pick to take a quarterback. So, look, him or Lamar, again, you're searching for a future. I just hope Matt Corral's a part of it.
Go get a tackle. Let's go get a tackle at 9. The amount you would have to go give up. If I'm the Bears, I want it all. The amount, oh God, I want it all because there are going to be so many teams just jumping at the
So you want
pick.
that 9th pick, that 2nd round pick, that 3rd round pick, a picture of the GM's wife.
Yeah, I want
Photo?
the code to your gate, right? I'm gonna come swim at your pool when I want to. Like, I want everything.
Isn't that what they gave Lincoln Riley?
Yeah,
They're like, you can just break into any house.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be an E in Southern California.
He's like, wait, it's
Lincoln
already
Riley.
California.
Yeah, he just stops. He's like, man, I'm hungry. He just stops and walks in somebody's house like a plumber.
All right, let's go to Ken Johnson. What's up, Ken?
Yeah.
$5 donation. He says, Aaron Rodgers sits on the top of a mountain with a dragon scroll waiting for the right team to come. The HC shows up, and it turns out to be just Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, look, again, did he kick the eagle in the groin at the end of the darkness retreat? I mean, that's the real question. I'll say what I said a couple weeks ago. I'm starting to lean with you, Cone, that he's going to end up going back to the Packers. The more I look at this Jets thing, the more I look at it, God, I feel like it's starting to be a good fit.
For Rodgers?
You could add one more piece.
Mm-hmm.
You could just add one more piece outside. You got Garrett Wilson,
Yeah.
Elijah Moore, Conklin's serviceable at tight end. It's kind of a diet Robert Tonyan, not as athletic, but you can get away with it. More physical, possession receiver, go up and get a rebound in the red zone. But you add somebody to Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore. And
Breece Hall's going to come back.
Breece Hall's coming
Don't
back.
they still have
I like
James
Zonovan
Robinson?
Knight, the backup quarterback.
Don't they
as
still have
well.
James Robinson? Didn't they trade for him with
yes,
the Jaguars?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
you have a lot.
Look, I've been on this boat. I've been on this boat since day one.
Yeah.
Like, Aaron to the Jets, perfect fit. You go get one more piece, even if the
Defense
draft.
good enough to win a
You
Super
go
Bowl.
get old boy from Ohio State, Jackson Jigba, go get him. I mean, that's what you're looking at. That's what you're projected right now. Go get him and get another piece. I mean,
surrounding Aaron Rodgers with Ohio
Garrett
State.
Wilson and Jackson.
Yeah,
Look.
surrounding Aaron Rodgers with Ohio State wide receivers probably isn't a bad idea.
it's a good plan.
It's
like Georgia
With that
and-
rookie running
The
back.
Saints have been doing it for a while.
Yeah, it's like Georgia and Bama on the defensive line. It's like what the Eagles did. They're like, oh, yeah, just Georgia and Bama up front? Yeah, we'll do that.
You have Quentin Williams on defense who literally sneezed, said God bless you and thank you in the same sentence. I mean, that man's a monster. Have you haven't seen that?
No.
Sneeze. He sneezed. He was doing, I think this was like a draft interview.
What?
He sneezed. He's like, God bless you. Thank you. And kept going on with the question. Like he sneezed, blessed himself, and then thanked himself and blessed
Nice.
himself.
God, I thought you were going to say he did that
He's
while
a
he was rushing the
monster.
passer and sacked somebody.
It's an absolute monster. Let's go to Laura Brown. What's up, Laura? Hashtag Ask Crain Company. Which NFL team is most likely to blow the draft? And why is it the Colts?
No, it's the team that always blows the draft. It's the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders.
I will always
Yeah, you're
pick
probably
the
right.
Raiders. I will default to the Raiders screwing up in the draft. They'll probably trade half the city of Las Vegas to get Anthony Richardson. Like, guys, what if we played with 10?
Man,
And
that
Anthony Richardson played 2 positions. You imagine the money we'd save? It's like a kicker and a punter. You save a roster spot. No, I will always believe that the Raiders will blow it when given the chance. And they will be given the chance.
they had a couple seasons ago. They had those 3 first-round picks. They got Josh Jacobs out of that. That was a good pick. I think that was a Henry Ruggs they got, which that didn't work out for
Yeah, he's in
obvious
prison.
reasons. I forget who the third.
It was a
one
good pick, though.
It was a good pick.
It's a good pick.
No,
I mean,
seriously.
was it though?
I think he would have been.
Looking back on it now, it's not a good pick now. Looking at it, it's not a good pick.
Well, it's just like that's not your fault, though. You know, it's like, well, I mean, you can't.
Well, you didn't do your due diligence?
I mean, what? Yeah, Henry Ruggs in college. Henry Ruggs in college was the golden child.
Jake.
Well,
Jake,
who knows
Jake.
what?
Wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
Are people going to draft Brandon Miller?
Allegedly.
You can't help what kids
Yeah.
do after practice, man.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
These college kids.
Come
Hold on, why don't y'all
Jake.
come pat me down real quick?
Yeah,
I'm not doing
it's-
nothing though.
I don't know. It's again, I will, like I say, if you want to talk about screwing up the draft, I will default to the best team in the NFL at screwing up the draft. That is the Raiders. As long as there's a Davis with the last name Davis running the organization, they're going to screw up the draft. They haven't been a draft that screwed up since Rush's last conscription.
Wow.
Mm.
Hard on the Raiders right now.
I am.
Tell him again.
I don't know why I'm angry about it.
You're mad. You're an angry elf.
From the South Pole.
Let's go to CG87343.
Oh, wow. How's he doing? Is that R2's brother?
Yeah, it is.
Beep, boop, beep, beep, beep.
He's in jail right now. $5 donation. What team would you be both shocked and not surprised if they made the Super Bowl? For me, it's the Lions.
Wait.
I'll read it again. What team would you be both shocked and not surprised if they made the Super Bowl? For me, it's the Lions.
I'd be surprised.
I see what you're saying there. I get the question. It took me a second. You know, I'm going to say if I had to pick a team that I would be shocked but also not surprised, I'm going to say one. And y'all probably going to think I'm crazy for this.
You're crazy.
I have one in my head too. Let's see if it's the same.
You're crazy.
Broncos.
Cowboys.
Jaguars.
The Broncos. I like the
Broncos.
Jaguars.
Would you be shocked?
Cowboys.
No, honestly, though.
I would be shocked still.
Well, people,
you gotta prove it to me.
Look, people will hear me say that and go, "Oh no, there's no chance." Did you see Russell Wilson last year? Yes, but I saw Russell Wilson all the years before that.
Yeah.
Like again, I get it. Last year was a disaster, but let's think about extenuating circumstances here. All right, Russell, I think he's a fake person. Y'all know that. I've said that. I think he's fake.
Like,
fake as in he doesn't exist.
or is
No,
he
I-
fake like he's an NPC?
Wait, like
or
he's a non-playable character.
he's a robot. is
I'm
what
not
you're
saying that he's not a real person or he doesn't exist.
That's what
guys.
you said.
Good
Yes,
God.
absolutely.
What
Verbatim.
I'm saying is, I think the persona he gives off is a little bit fake. I think, like Blaine said, I think it's the best. I think Blaine said it the best. He is for sure the kid who, right before the class is about to end, tells the teacher she forgot to take the homework.
Oh,
100% that guy. The man did high knees for 2 hours on an airplane. I already don't like you.
Yeah,
but having said that, last year to me, if you look at Russell Wilson's career, was the anomaly. I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt when you went to a new team for the first time. You had a first-year head coach who just wanted to be buddies with everybody instead of actually being the head coach. You had Javonte Williams get hurt. I mean, you didn't have a ton of weapons. You had Jerry Jeudy, all right, which we feel good about.
Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton. But when you look at being able to compete, the offensive line was a huge letdown, I thought, in my opinion. The run game was a huge letdown for the Broncos outside of Javonte getting hurt. But when you look at the Broncos defense, And if Russell Wilson and Sean Payton can figure it out, I know Javante's, they're talking about he may miss a couple games in 2023, but you can supplement the run game. It's the offensive line. If the offensive line figures it out and gives Russell a chance, the Broncos, even though they are in the AFC West, I get that. I would not be shocked, okay? Or I would be shocked, but not surprised. I get that question, though. I do get what he's saying. It's not a contradictory question.
Whose was yours, David? The Cowboys?
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not expecting them to make the Super Bowl. You've already said they're not making the Super Bowl with Dak Prescott, right?
No, they're
but
not.
If they made it there, would you be that surprised? Or would you be shocked? Whatever side of the question.
I would be shocked because that means Dak didn't blow it. Because again, Dak has what I call the Carson Wentz disease, which is when it goes bad, it goes horribly bad. There's not just a mistake. It's I threw it right to Josh Sweat, who ran it into the end zone on the second play. Oh, it's 4th down with the game on the line. I fumbled the snap. He got a little Romo in him. A little bit of Romo in him. I'm just telling you. Don't trust him. Can't trust him. Because the reason is they should have treated Dak like they treat Jalen Hurts from a play calling standpoint and design standpoint. Dak Prescott, when he is cooking, he is a true dual threat bully quarterback. Now, does that mean you're going to last 15 years in the league? Probably not. But you're not a pocket passer. Dak Prescott is not a pocket passer. You turned a guy that was a dual threat, legitimate quarterback that now in the RPO game should be smoking fools with the way that he played at Mississippi State. You remember Mississippi State Dak, early Cowboys Dak, then Shovelface of the Cowboys tried to turn him into Joe Montana or Drew Brees. Let the man tote the mail, dog. That's who he is.
You think it was Shovelface's fault?
I think a little bit of it was Shovelface.
I don't know.
I think a little bit of it was Jerry said, I don't want to get Dak hurt because he's the golden boy that's going to take us to the promised land. And you took away what he's best at. It's like taking away the bow from Hawkeye. He's not going to fist fight everybody to death. He needs the bow.
There shouldn't be a guy with a bow in the Avengers, all right? There shouldn't be a guy with a bow in the Avengers.
Legolas?
It's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that was back in Middle Earth.
That's Lord of the Rings. Don't act like you don't know. You just watched all of them.
They just invented
like, here's
canon.
the Hulk. Here's Iron Man. Here's Thor. Here's some jackass with a bow. Like, what? All right, let's go to Glegby. What's up, Glegby? Hey, the Broncos have a history of taking a great QB that everyone thinks is washed up and winning a Super Bowl with them. It's happened before. It'll happen again.
Okay, now let's
Look how different you did before.
Yeah. Peyton Manning. I don't want to compare anybody to Peyton Manning. It wasn't like Peyton Manning was balling when they won their Super Bowl in Denver. That defense.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people forget about that Broncos defense.
Came to lead.
That was hell on wheels. Like, down, set.
Get out of my head.
Get out of my head,
They're
Dad.
pretty good. All right, let's go to, I just had one here. Okay, yeah, let's go to Brendan. Hey, Brendan. Does Rex go to the Broncos? Is that even a good option for him?
Yeah, I think it's a good option. You got great players.
Yeah.
You know where coaches want to go? Where there's great players. That's why you don't see guys turning down Alabama job to go to William and Mary. Like, I want to go to where the best players are. Because guess what? That's the biggest ingredient. Everybody pretty much runs the same stuff. All right, you see wrinkles, we see Andy Reid and what the Chiefs do and other, situational plays and things like that. But at the end of the day, if I have better players than you, there is a high chance that I'm going to beat you unless I screw it up or they screw it up. But I would much rather be on the side where if I take care of my business and my players take care of their business and you take care of your business and your players take care of their business, I'm still going to win because my players are better than yours. It's like being in a better race car. I just got to stay on the track. Just got to stay on the track and not crash, and I'll beat you.
Speaking of race cars, man, I try to watch that Formula One stuff on Netflix. I just can't do it. It's just not me.
Either.
Just not me.
Can't get
it's not my style.
I enjoyed watching the NASCAR race, just the F1 stuff, man.
The motor, I just can't do it.
It's fun, man.
I just can't. Like the first episode was some Italian guy talking down to me while drinking wine. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Okay, so you watched 30 seconds of the first
That's all I
episode
needed
of the
to
new
know.
season.
That's all I needed to
That guy
see.
gets fired anyway.
Good, he deserves it.
Okay,
He deserves it.
Come on back.
How do you have a back heart Ferrari?
That is true.
They have a great car. That's the problem. That's why. That's
How
why
do you mess it up? The first 30 seconds was a Ferrari. You got to drive like,
They get out-strategized. They get out-strategized.
Like, come on, man. All right, let's go to Travis Elrod, hashtag Ask Crain Company. If you were Jerry Jones, okay, would you get rid of Dak, keep Dak, or just try to rebuild from the beginning?
Here's what I do if I'm Jerry Jones. Here's what I do. Hold on. Where's my phone at? Well, it's around here somewhere. Here's what I do. Oh, hey, Yeah, man, y'all got this, man. I'm rich. y'all can find me in Turks and Caicos eating cheese, eggs, and potatoes. I'll holler at y'all. I'm done dealing with Dak. I'm done dealing with Mike McCarthy. Y'all figure it out. Call Jimmy. Because guess what? Jerry, I'm Audi 5000. So that's what I would do if I was Jerry Jones. Now, he will never do that. But what was the question about Dak?
Would you rather go on with Dak or just rebuild?
No. Well, I don't think you got to rebuild. I think you can move Dak. Look at your defense. Look at Micah Parsons. I mean, look at I know Pollard's a free agent. You re-sign him. I mean, you add somebody like Mike Evans on the outside. I think you can move Dak. Send Dak to the Titans.
So if let me ask you this. The Cowboys got Mike Evans and Jalen Ramsey. Are they winning it?
No, because Dak Prescott. I'm telling you.
What would they have to get for them to win it with Dak?
Heaven's Army.
Really?
Yes. They'd have to get Heaven's Army because they don't use Dak the right way. And he'd still throw it to somebody else. But I'm about to throw it to somebody else. And that's our friend Brandon Marcello from 247 Sports. That's what we call a segue in the business right there, fellas. Rocking the backwards hat. You know I got mad love and respect for that. Brandon, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Definitely, man. You know, I want to start. We talked about the Florida State to the SEC thing, and, you know, that's a hot topic right now. Not like the place in the mall that scared the hell out of me as a kid.
Place.
No, don't. I never would
love that place.
No, just because you got your jeans from there and walked around with black stuff on and spider webs doesn't mean you come at me with that stuff, weirdo. Brandon, I want to talk about this new law, talking about the service academies in football. I mean, we know Andre Carter, he'll be able to be on an NFL roster next season, but they're now making a law where, you know, which is what I thought the law was, where you had to serve, you know, at least a certain amount of time if you do go to a service academy. You look at David Robinson, who's somehow at 7 foot fit in a submarine. I don't understand how that happened. But Brandon, what are your overall thoughts on this rule? Because to me, a lot of coaches are pushing back, and I do get that. But if you make a commitment to serve in the Army or the Air Force or the Navy, don't you need to fill out that commitment like everybody else has done before you?
Yeah, I would think so. It's an interesting, you know, prospect there when we're talking about all this and the fights that we're seeing here most recently, as you mentioned with Carter. But you know, maybe there's some way to go about. I mean, we talk about delaying things, but you know, that's the other thing. You go and become a pro, and then you retire. Let's say you become a really good player in the NFL or whatever, and you become a really good player. Are you really going to be able to serve when you're, you know, in your 40s or anything like that? That's impossible. But, you know, I haven't followed it that closely, but I am familiar with the Carter story. It's intriguing because I always sat back and I was like, you know, I never even actually thought about that, about how these guys that, you know, play the service academies, they go in knowing that you're not going to get drafted to go to the pros. And then it becomes a reality later in their career. Oh, wait. I could be an NFL player, and then all of a sudden they change their minds. So it's an interesting thing, and I'm sure that we're probably going to see more fights of this in the future. But I mean, the truth of the matter is that there just aren't that very many players at those service academies are going to end up wanting to be pro, and for that matter, could cut it out as a pro.
Yeah, I believe we had this discussion with a long snapper from Navy a couple years ago, too. I think a guy that had a chance to play in the pros. But we talked about the Florida State, you know, AD Michael Alford coming out, you know, looking at the ACC, like basically saying, you know, if you don't figure this out, you can get on with your broke ass. Brandon, where do you see Florida State legitimately moving to the SEC soon? And if that were to happen, let's just play the hypothetical game. I know there's a big buyout. I get that. Me and Peter Burns talked about it on Twitter yesterday. But do you see Florida State eventually becoming a Southeastern Conference affiliate?
Yes, I do. I think it'll be a long-term move, though. I don't think it'll happen here in the short term. I do think that money is something that would stop them. Also, there would be a lot of legal battles in this. And I was discussing this yesterday with several people about getting the issue with the grant of rights. One, that would be a common issue with the ACC and the Florida State potentially taking the ACC to court about that, about what exactly is that contains. But also, what about ESPN and the ACC? Because ESPN owns the exclusive rights to all ACC games now. ESPN also owns all the rights to SEC games moving forward now. So when you take that team from the ACC to ESPN and the SEC wants more money, then ESPN's going to go, well, we want to pay less money to the ACC because the teams that you had that team you had isn't there anymore. And that becomes a battle because the ACC is not going to want to take less money. And then also the ACC might argue that you interfered through contract discussions with all this. So it's complicated. But what you're seeing right now, and speaking to a couple of sports economists yesterday, is what you're seeing right now, college sports is changing across the country, of course. And everybody's worried about positioning themselves financially to be in a good position in the future. And why is that? Well, we all know what's going on in NIL and everything. But the fact of the matter is, on the horizon and in the near future, players will be paid by these universities. It's going to happen. The move is happening. We're seeing it in the Johnson case right now. Everybody's sitting back watching to see what happens in Washington, D.C. with that. But the feeling among ADs is that that's going to happen. And these departments, which are already kind of losing money anyway, are going to be losing a lot more money. So everybody needs to go out and protect themselves and get as much money as possible. So long story short, I do think that at some point, the top programs like a Florida State or a Clemson, they're going to end up leaving the ACC unless they get a lot more money. And I just don't see that happening. Even if they get more money from the ACC and more than their, Patriots there inside the ACC, because Wake Forest, they have nothing to stand on. They're not, they can say, hey, we don't want less than Florida State, but in the end, they're not going to win out with that. But that's a short-term solution for the ACC. It's like having a girlfriend who keeps breaking up with you, but you keep convincing her to come back to you. That's just not going to work out in the long run. And I think that Florida State is going to end up leaving that conference. And, what could make it happen sooner, guys, is if Florida State, Clemson, and a few other teams, say like a North Carolina or Virginia, and they go, you know what, maybe we can go to the Big 12. Maybe we can go to whatever. And those guys behind the scenes go, hey, let's all try to leave together here within a period of a couple of years. So that dissolves that grant of rights. And all of a sudden, none of those teams owe almost $500 million to the ACC. And the way that happens, guys, according to the contract language, apparently, is that 8 teams out of the ACC would have to leave, and that would dissolve the grant of rights, and then they'd be free to move without really paying much of a buyout.
I did not know. So basically staging a walkout. Brandon, I do want to say, are you saying that you think these student athletes are going to be employees? Is that where you're going with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Damn, man. That's going to ruin the sport.
Yeah,
that's the talk. These ADs are preparing for it. They are. Everybody I talked to in the last year, they're trying to figure out their finances with this. They think it's going to happen.
Man. Well, that was the natural segue. Name, image, and likeness was always great in concept, with the ability to say, well, why can't I sign an autograph for someone and charge $20 when my classmate can do the same thing and he doesn't play a sport at the school? That's not right. And finally, it took us so long to be able to say, you know what, that's not right. We should be allowed to do that. Only 24 months now? Was that 24 months ago? And now we're already at, you know what? We're going to unionize. We're going to have, we're going to be paid employees of the school. So, Brandon, if this happens, this is a professional sports league, right? Like that is pro football. So how will that work at the same time that these are public institutions, the universities, that are accepting money from the government? How are those two things going to exist? We talked with Ben Shapiro about this in one of our interviews recently. What say you about it?
It's fascinating, and I wish I was a lawyer, because lawyers can be making a lot of money when this all starts happening, because they're gonna have to all figure this out.
Billable hours.
Billable hours always win, guys. Yep, you're exactly right, Jake. So I think when you look forward here, there's also the conversation of how does this affect Title IX? Because if these universities start having to pay their players, the question is, and I've been hearing this too, is do a men's basketball player get paid the same amount as a women's basketball player by the university? Football versus women's basketball, football versus golf? Then it becomes an issue. If that's the case, everybody gets paid equally, do football players, men's basketball players go, hey, we're worth more in the market than this? And then they take, their school to their university to court over it, saying we deserve more money than, say, our golf team or whatever. And also, when we talk about the finances of all this, some athletic departments are not going to be able to float all of their programs. 20 plus athletic programs. And then that becomes an issue of Title IX also of, well, if you start cutting the sports that aren't making money, those are usually the women's sports and also the ancillary sports like golf, men's golf, women's golf. This is going to be a complete mess once if they decide. But the feeling is that they will decide to start paying players here. And I think that's going to happen in the next 5 years or so. But keep an eye on that Johnson case that's going on right now.
I mean, we're going to do that, and baseball players can't even get full scholarships, a certain allotment of full scholarships yet. We're going to make employees.
I saw it every year. I think we had one player on a full scholarship.
Yep. John Lieber at South Alabama was one of them.
Everyone else had to split scholarships.
It's nuts.
But we'll let the men get the trophies.
Yeah, for sure.
How to deal with this? Trying to keep men out of women's sports. Women's sports is not looking great.
Right.
Let's go to Travis Elrod. He wants to know who survives longer, the ACC or the Pac-12?
The ACC. I think that's something just because that grant of rights is so strong legally.
Yeah.
But the Pac-12, I listen, circle the month of April on your calendar, guys. I think it's a big month coming up for the Pac-12. We should figure out exactly what that TV deal looks like for them. Looks like it's going to be all streaming, if not mostly streaming. And there's a lot of concern within the Pac-12 circles, the admins there about whether that's going to make everybody happy, particularly Washington and Oregon. The issue there, though, for any teams looking to get out and maybe try to get the Big Ten like a Washington and Oregon, the Big Ten's not looking to expand right now. Kevin Warren, the commissioner, is on his way out. And keep in mind, the presidents that are still there, they're the ones who make the decision and inform the commissioner of what they want. They didn't really want to expand with USC and UCLA to begin with. And Warren kind of went against their wishes. Warren was a guy that went against wishes sometimes and always kind of won in the long run by getting his way. And for that matter, he probably set up the Big Ten to be in the strongest spot it's ever been and maybe be the strongest conference in college athletics moving forward without him. But listen, there's kind of a vacuum there in the Big Ten. So if the Pac-12 TV deal is not quite what these players want there and the big players there with Washington, Oregon specifically, can they try to go to the Big Ten when there's really not a commissioner in place? And for that matter, presidents there that don't really want to expand? For that matter, I think that the big benefactor in all of this potentially is going to be the Big 12. I mean, goodness gracious, a year and a half ago, we thought the Big 12 was dead in the water.
Yeah.
They might end up being a super conference of its own, maybe not on the level of Big 10 or SEC, but I think the Big 12 is in position to be the third strongest conference out there.
Yeah, they're almost like a catch-all for these other conferences.
Yes.
I find this, and we're here with Brandon Marcello from 247 Sports. I always find brutal ironies even more brutal, but how brutal is the irony of the Pac-12 maybe going down while it's going to probably have the best year that it's had as a conference since we can remember with all the quarterbacks that are returning? Utah, Washington, Oregon, USC, Arizona. I can go down the list. But great stuff, Brandon, as usual, man. Really appreciate you hopping on, especially coming on short notice. Tell everybody where they can find your work because you are absolutely on point all the time.
Yeah, just check us out, 247sports.com, and I'm sure you can find me on Twitter and all the social media.
Definitely. Well, Brandon, I appreciate it, man. Stay safe out there.
All right, see you guys.
All right, Brandon Marcello, always great information, man. And, good, bad, or indifferent, you're going to get it straight up. It's like taking a shot. Sometimes you got to hold your nose and just let it flow like the rivers of ancient Babylon. But you want to get into some reactions here? And you want to go 5 big questions? Your choice.
We got to get these 5 big questions
let's get
out of the
five
way.
big questions.
5 big, huge, humongous questions.
God, they're massive.
The Commanders release Carson Wentz. Who will start at quarterback for Washington next season?
Again, look, I'm a big Taylor Heineke guy. Who knows really what the Commanders are going to do at quarterback? There is some options out there. This smells like a Ryan Tannehill situation. It just feels like that. I will say this, though. What idiot's going to take the bait for Carson Wentz this time? You always do it. Well, maybe he'll figure it out. Maybe Carson Wentz can be the guy everybody thought he was coming out of North Dakota State. No, it's a wrap. But somebody will do it. Somebody will take the bait for Carson Wentz. Somebody will pay this guy. I don't think he should be in the league anymore. I don't think he's a very good player. Never thought he was a very good player. Great guy. Nothing. I mean, dude handles the media, very responsible. That's great. But good guys get you fired sometimes. So I'm more wondering not who's going to be the quarterback of the Commanders, but who's going to take the shot on Carson Wentz? Is it the Falcons? Who's going to do it? The Saints? Somebody said the Saints going to take a shot at it. If the Saints do that, y'all are the dumbest people alive. And I know the Saints people aren't because I know them. And low-key, I'm kind of one of them.
Who's starting, Blaine?
Oh, you got the 16th pick in the draft.
Sam Howell, I mean.
All right, you got Sam Howell,
love him.
who's extremely good. You still have Taylor touched by Heineke, right? I think Sam's good. I think so. Well, what I saw in college, he was good. I didn't think he looked terrible out there on the field. They don't have an offensive line to protect anybody. So I think he'll be just as good as probably Taylor Heineke right now than Sam is in his second year.
Okay.
I think that. But do you reach with your pick? Is Anthony Richardson on the table when you get there? That's going to be a what? A reach. If it's me, I'm going DB. I feel like Derek Carr would be a great fit.
Yeah.
A great fit for the Redskins. I mean, you're pretty good on defense, great D-line. Your secondary can get better with the Joey Porter pickup. You have some cap space. I think Carson Wentz is a backup in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's what I think Carson Wentz is.
That's what he won a Super Bowl.
All right, Bears still on the fence if they're going to trade the number 1 overall pick or not. Can they trade down and still get Will Anderson Jr.?
Yeah. Yes. Not only that, I think they could trade down some, maybe have a shot at Jalen Carter. Like, which one of those two is going first? Like, to me, I would take Will Anderson. If everything was even, I'm taking Will Anderson. I think they're both elite, but he can do more stuff. Like, I'll always take the guy that can do more stuff. I think Will Anderson can play outside. You can drop him. I mean, there's just so many things. Put his hand down, put his hand up. He can do so many different things. Not that Jalen Carter can't go out there and play defensive end and be effective, but I think Will Anderson Jr. is a more versatile piece. And I will always say the best ability is availability, and the best utility is versatility. But when it comes down to the Bears, when you look at the order of the picks, yes, if it's me, I am Colts, y'all want it? Y'all want this pick? Okay, we're going to take y'all's pick, and then we need something else for it. Like, if the Bears play this right, if they really do play this right with Justin Fields, I think the Bears could steal a year. Which, what do I mean by that? I think they could be ready a year before they think they're going to be ready if they play this right. If it's me, I'm trading it. Guess what, Shane Steichen? Come up here, make a mistake. We'll take that pick.
Jalen Ramsey has requested a trade from the Rams, just like he did when he was on the Jaguars. The Pats, Seahawks, Steelers, and Cowboys are all within his trade request. Where should he play next season?
Dallas. Jalen Ramsey just fits in Dallas. His style, his swagger. Can you imagine him and Diggs out there?
Or two.
Yeah, for a year. I mean, hell, the guy moves around. He has the word Rams in his last name, and he wants to leave. So, like, when I look at the Cowboys, can you imagine that defense with Micah Parsons, with Diggs, with Jalen? He's a Cowboy. I can look at that guy and tell you the way he plays, deep down, he's a Cowboy, and I think he's going to end up in Dallas.
Blaine?
I think he's going to go to the Bengals.
Damn, that would be nasty.
The Bengals are the Lions, to be honest.
I'm not going to trade him to the Seahawks.
If I'm the Lions, I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing everything. First of all, the cap space-wise, you're in a great spot, right? Same thing with the Bengals. Joey B's still on that rookie contract, right? So you can fit that. And what are you kind of missing if you're the Bengals to have Jalen Ramsey, who obviously, I mean, this is kind of a mutual both ways, too. The Rams want him gone, too. I mean, you save so much money if you're the Rams on this contract. I think you're getting like $20 million in cap space. If you deal them by the fifth day, I know you at least save $9 million if you deal them by the fifth day. So I think the Rams want to go on too. The Rams, you got to invest in your future. I mean, Matthew Stafford's not getting any younger. Cooper Kupp is extremely good. We'll see health-wise. Aaron Donald, we know if Aaron's coming back another year. He just lost Whitworth. So if anything, the Rams, you're in the rebuilding phase. So right now, the thing you can get for Jalen Ramsey, I'm dealing him whichever way. But if I'm the Lions, if I'm the Bengals, I want this guy on my team. But, of course, the Cowboys are going to go after him. We all know that. It's the Cowboys. It's all cameras and lights, flashing lights. So, but if me, man, him on the Bengals just feels right.
All right.
Him and Bates.
NBA, LeBron James could miss several weeks for the Lakers with a foot injury. Do they make the playoffs?
Blaine, you can go ahead first.
They're a game out. 10th place to make the playoffs. So without LeBron, no, I don't think so. I don't think D'Angelo Russell is going to play tonight against the Grizzlies either. And you look down the stretch of their schedule, I don't think without LeBron, they're not. They're not.
They didn't make it last year either. Oh, no, LeBron. No. You don't make the playoffs for 2 straight years, LeBron. Whose fault is it, LeBron? It's your fault for putting this team together. So, no, the Lakers aren't going to make the playoffs. Wouldn't matter if LeBron did play. Didn't matter last year.
Well, they're a game back.
Well, now that LeBron's not playing, they're not going to make the playoffs.
A game back for what would be
10th place?
Game, right?
Yeah,
How does
you
it
get the
work
playing
in the
game.
10th
Yeah, you get
plays,
the playing
plays
game.
the 8th seed?
Yeah, you get the playing game.
Yeah, for the playing game.
And I think right now they're on a 4-game win streak after the trade. Bye, Russell. Garbage out.
Well, again, I said what I say, Russell Westbrook. But you put this team together. There's a reason y'all 29-32 and didn't do anything last year. You thought Russell Westbrook would be a good idea.
So staying in the NBA for the 5th and final of the 5 huge-mongous questions.
Just so huge.
We saw some big-time overtime games in the NBA, and Adam Silver, the commissioner, immediately comes out and says, we're going to consider implementing a target score to reach in overtime rather than a timed overtime where you can go into multiple overtimes and have guys actually play basketball for the money they make, you know? What do you guys think about this?
Well, like at what point are they just going to treat it like 2K and just simulate the regular season?
Just simulate the regular
Just
season.
simulate it.
And then just play
Like what I see in NCAA
you know what? No,
football.
don't play the playoffs.
Yeah.
Simulate the whole thing.
Like year 6.
You're now a gamer.
Year 6 in dynasty mode.
No one gets
signing
hurt.
number 1 classes. I'm just simulating the regular season. Give me the SEC championship. I'll go ahead and win the Natty. I don't think that. Look. The NBA markets its stars really well. I do want to give them credit where credit's due. I think they market their stars the way that Major League Baseball should market their stars. I will give the NBA credit. But nobody is destroying their brand faster than the NBA. Nobody is. Adam Silver is the smartest dumb guy I've ever met or ever seen. Smartest dumb guy. Sometimes he'll say stuff and I'll be like, you know what? That's really smart. I get that. Are you probably an alien? For sure. Just look at him. Would you be shocked if Agent J came in here and grabbed you and walked you into some Men in Black facility and Adam Silver is there with like 6 arms, like making all the coffee? You know, like at the thing? No, you wouldn't. But that's neither here nor there. This is so stupid. It's so stupid. It's basketball. You're not running through landmines. This isn't rugby. This isn't football. Play the damn game in overtime, Adam. God, the NBA is so soft. Just the softest ever.
Target score?
We surprised by this. It's basically watching Love Island. It's a drama, dude. That's what it is. It's what it is. I don't know why. Look, I'll flip it on sometimes to watch it, just to watch it. There's nothing else on. But I don't start watching until the playoffs. And I barely watch then. Until you get the East and West Conference Finals, that's when I'm watching.
Yeah.
All right. Other than that, it's just the guys a lot. It's like 7-on-7. But guys don't play that hard on defense when it comes to the NBA. All right, I'm kind of gonna get in your face a little bit, but you're gonna hit your shot. The NBA wants point like baseball wants runs, right? So that's why you see the foul calling. You breathe on somebody, it's a foul. If you look at James Harden a certain way, it's a foul. So I mean, if LeBron flops, it's a foul. So I mean, at this point, you know, if you're gonna short, you got to do something. All right. And 1, you got to start paying them less if they're gonna cry and moan like this. 2, you shorten the regular season. 3, go to China. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're going.
Yeah.
I do want to get to the Booster Club real quick before we get to reaction.
All right.
Let's go to Ryan Gade with a $5 donation. He says, shout out to the West Virginia Iowa State game last night being an instant, gritty, blue-collared classic. # Country Roads.
God, Iowa State is blowing it down the stretch.
I don't believe.
West Virginia, nice 3-point win on the road. Baylor handled business at Oklahoma State. I tell you what, man, with Jonathan Chamachachua back, I'm looking at Baylor, and it's like, wait a minute. Like, LJ Cryer, I mean, you look at some of these young cats they got, a Flagler, who's an absolute splash festival. Baylor's starting to look like a team that can win it. Like, in a year where I know Bama's really good, I know Purdue's got that monster inside, I know that Houston is still my pick, but man, the more I watch Baylor, Scott Drew, they know what to do when it comes into when March hits.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't. That's when Baylor really does their thing. That was a big win for them. But now West Virginia, man, nice win on the road. Bob Huggins, one of my favorite guys to watch. I wish he'd get him one before it ended.
Bob Huggins.
Yeah,
I like Bob Huggins.
Huggy Bear. All right, let's get to another Booster Club question.
All right, Conan, 60 seconds. He says, hey, boys, March 13th, I start my career as a high school varsity fast pitch softball coach.
Let's go.
Super excited for it. Any advice for coaching girls at that level?
Look, I never coached girls before, but I mean, look, an athlete's an athlete, a player is a player. I mean, you look at the mindset that these kids have, when you're talking about the age group that you're coaching. My biggest thing was, when I never wanted to leave the field, the diamond, whatever, with you being mad at me or me being mad at you. And I wanted them to understand from the beginning that I do care about them more as a person than I do as an athlete, but I know what them being a great athlete can do for them as a person. So once a player understands that you actually care about them as a person, you can get everything out of them and make them run foul poles. There you go. That's my advice.
Foul poles?
Yes. On the men's field. Don't let them do it on the softball field. You want to be better? Let's run longer.
Yeah, that is a long way.
God, they're gonna
I would say
for that.
Discipline should be at the core of coaching, regardless if it's males or females. If you instill discipline, that is a lifelong skill set that can serve these kids for the rest of their lives.
For sure. Well, good luck, man. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, they're not your friends. All right, get the and 2 launch angle. That's all I'm teaching if I coach softball.
And girls softball.
Launch angle.
I feel like
That's it.
softball's like the opposite because you swing down. It's
No,
like
I'm not trying to hit line drives. I'm trying to hit tanks.
yeah, but like
All right.
I've swung at that softball and swung it up with a baseball swing, and it does this. It goes straight up in the air. They're like, you got to swing down on it like you're chopping down a tree. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm good on that.
Yeah, I get it. You want to cut it, but to hit it farther, the fence is what, 210, 205, somewhere around there? Let's pop it up.
I'm not a Scientologist, but I mean, I can do the math and figure it out.
All right, let's go to Roman Debert. What's up, man? $5 donation.
up,
Morning, guys. Morning to you, Roman. Are any of you guys going to be tuning into the Arnold Strongman Classic this weekend?
We're gonna look at it. Look, I'll flip over and watch it. There's some high-level college hoops on this weekend, but yeah, I've got multiple TVs. I'm like the architect from The Matrix. I'm just looking around. I'll check out some strongman stuff. I find that stuff fascinating. Like that, like pulling a train with your teeth. Like who does that?
I want to see someone fight a full-grown
fight them.
silverback gorilla.
No. They should fight each other. Can you imagine? World's strongest men, world's strongest wrestler. How about that?
Yeah, whoever wins that, then you have to fight a full-grown grizzly and a silverback.
By the way, I should have had this clip to show you guys, but I about had a heart attack. I was laughing so hard the other day. They filmed it. This dude's a motivational speaker, and he walks in the class, and he's like, I make my best decisions when I'm under pressure. And right when he says this, somebody sneaks up behind him. He obviously knew this was going to happen, and got a plastic bag and put it around his head and started choking him out like he had to fight his way out of it. And for like 45 seconds, this dude's getting choked out, like fighting his way out of it. He gets the guy off him. He goes up to the board and he writes, Uber for dogs. Because he makes his best decisions under pressure. You got to watch the video, dude. I about had a heart attack. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why I just thought about that, but I wanted to get that out. I should have cold opened with that one. Oh, my.
All right, let's go to Stephen Moore. He says the Hawks signed Quinn Snyder as their new coach. How much deeper can they go in the playoffs?
I like Quinn. Quinn's been recycled around the league. He knows what's up. Does he look like he's going to try and, find a cave in Antarctica to find a way to kill Superman? Yes, but I also know that he knows basketball. Look, the Hawks, do we believe in Trae Young when it matters in the playoffs?
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
We don't. Blaine
I think
I don't.
you do.
Yes.
What if the Hawks won
Nothing yet.
with Trae Young? Boy, give me Luka, dog. What a win. What a great win from the Mavericks.
Yeah.
I'll take Luka Doncic with one arm over Trae Young when it matters. I don't even think it's that close. I don't think it's that close.
Well, Trae plus the other pick they got for
And
him.
one of the Mavericks won.
Yeah,
but-
more than the Hawks. I mean, they're what, a series away from getting there last year?
Didn't win anything.
They made it to what, conference finals?
They lost to the... Did they lose to the Grizz or to the...
It was him and Brunson. Him and Brunson were
Or did
carrying
they lose to
the
Golden
Mavs
State in
last
Game
year.
7?
I think it was, yeah. I think it
They
was
lost to Golden State
in
in Game 7 or 6, something like that.
Yeah. I'll take Luke over Trae any day of the week.
I mean, no, yeah, I would too. I'm just saying the Mavericks hadn't won anything like special that the Hawks haven't. I mean, what championship have you won? Also, obviously, Luke is a better player.
Well, I mean,
But Luka has to get help, right?
I'll say this though. I mean, I will give the Hawks credit. I mean, they are going to make the playoffs. They're not like the Lakers or anything. Let's go ahead and get to the reaction videos as well.
First reaction, there was a high IQ play here on a sting operation with the Redskins.
Oh, this is great.
See this?
This is great. So just let's go and throw this clip up there. This is fantastic. All right. And if you're on audio right now, you need to go over to YouTube. You need to subscribe as well. But y'all need to check this out. Let's play the clip.
There were among 3,000 wanted persons sent invitations to a party and a football match, but they didn't know that the offer to see the Washington Redskins in action had come from the police department.
They're queuing for a free ticket to watch the Redskins football team. A chance few Washington people could resist, which is exactly what the local police were banking on. They'd sent out invitations to pick up tickets for yesterday's game to the last known addresses of 3,000 criminals on the run.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. I didn't realize the dude in the chicken suit had a gun.
Oh, yeah.
What did you say, Blaine? We were talking about this earlier. Like, how did they get away for so long?
Yeah, I question the police department, to be honest. What are we doing out here? We can't find these people. These people are evading us. The people who are wanted criminals but go to a Redskins game. We can't find these folks.
What if you talk to the criminals after and they're like, yeah, we knew it was a setup, but I just love football that much.
Yeah, we thought maybe off the off chance it wasn't a setup that we were actually going to get.
I just was hoping they'd arrest us after
Is it
the
just
game.
me, or every time I see a guy in a chicken suit, I automatically think he has a gun? Is that just me?
Officer Nugget?
He's always like the
Officer
chicken
Nugget,
suit. I watched
yeah.
Bullet Train last night. Someone with a chicken suit
like
had a gun.
a couple things. Number one, it's not a football match, British League.
Yeah, I was about to
Okay,
say.
you come to my house, you get my wife's name right. But the second thing is, I've seen this happen in the Iron Bowl for Auburn, Alabama, where they had the thing where you come put your hand on the truck, like in Iron Bowl. Like I've seen it for Auburn, Alabama tickets, but I've also seen it where you go and put your hand on the truck, and the last person whose hand's on the truck gets the truck. But they do it with criminals, and like just arrest them all when they show up. Brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Interesting.
If I'm a criminal and I get this invite, I'm not going.
No, I'm not going. First off,
it's a football game.
No,
it's
no,
the Redskins.
no,
What's better,
here's my
football
thing.
game or jail,
It's
David?
the Redskins.
No,
You
here,
just watch a
have
free
you watched
game.
the Redskins play? I mean, I
You serve a little time. You watch the Redskins play. It's a good Sunday.
Well, let's really think about this here. How did you get a hold of them?
yeah, if you already knew
get
where they
last
were.
known
How did you get a hold of them?
They sent out invitations.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
How
you
do
just
do
go
that?
to the last address?
That's why I'm questioning the police department. Like, where's the last place you looked?
No, what I think this
That's their last known
The address you sent the invitation.
what I think this is somebody made a bet with somebody at the police department, and like, there's no way. Like they're sitting there like, guys, we've got 273 criminals on the loose that we don't have the manpower to be able to go out and get all these guys. Does anybody have any ideas? You know, there was that guy in the back who just like raised his hand up like this, and they're like, all right, Devin, what do you got? He's like, well, Sarge, I've been thinking, what if we told them that you can go play in a Redskins game, and they all showed up at the Redskins game, and then we just arrested all of them.
It's like the guy.
And then some guy's like, damn it, Devin, that idea's crazy.
It's like the guy off the other
but
guys.
it might just be
What's his
crazy
name?
enough to work.
The guy with the other guys who has the glasses, who's like investing all the money. And
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah.
You show up there and it's
what are
like,
you doing, Bob?
this is the meeting.
This is the meeting
I was telling you about.
about.
Oh, that was a good one.
Forgot
That was a
that
good
scene.
fun.
All right, college baseball highlights from this past weekend. First off, we have Liam McFadden Ackman, 2 grand slams in 1 inning. We have that clip. We also have John Rice Plumlee catch that you have to see, and the Mississippi State pitcher that can throw 97 miles per hour right-handed and 92 miles per hour left-handed.
Oh, man.
Let's start with the grand slams.
2 grannies in the same inning. I haven't seen that since Grandma's boy. Let's
Love
go
the
ahead and play the clip.
70s.
Yep, like the
Oh,
stance.
like that. The
Good
white
hands,
unis.
little movement.
Remember that one time?
Just
you threw
throw
inside-
it. Potatoes.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
he knows it.
It's not just a slam, it's a grand slam, baby. You'll love to see it.
There's nothing like a good foot guard, man.
No, look,
I'm
there's
telling
nothing
you.
like that.
+5 distance with that +5 power with that foot guard on.
Absolutely connecting on one.
Yeah.
Can't even feel it coming off the bat.
So this is the same inning right here.
Yep.
Same
You hit
inning.
the grand slam. Like those unis. Comes up again with the
yeah.
bases loaded. You won't do it again. Let's talk
pitch.
about friendship.
This one, he doesn't know. He doesn't know on this one, no.
It's going to be
Take
tight.
that
It's
under.
gonna be
No.
tight. It's going to be tight.
Now he knows.
That's incredible. I wonder how many times that's actually happened. Like at this point, I'm letting everybody know in the infield exactly what I think about their baseball program and how I now should own property in wherever location or county that they call home. Yeah, I hit 2 grand slams.
Unreal.
I get to see it. I want to. Let's go to the next one. This is nuts right here. Let's go ahead and run it.
The strike zone the whole time you've been out there.
Clemson down a run, bottom of the 6th.
Boom.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
Quarterback. That's what UCF's quarterback.
That show's quarterback.
Yeah. Quarterback out there playing center
Out there
field.
just robbing.
I mean, look, quarterback,
homers.
center field.
Man,
I mean, what?
crazy
Probably plays
athlete.
shooting guard? Good God. Keep this guy off sorority row.
It's super athletic.
Yeah, keep this guy off
He is.
sorority row.
Can't throw, but super athletic.
UCF ended up sweeping Clemson and then running down the hill at
UCF did it too?
football field.
I thought it was South Carolina.
No, UCF did. UCF swept them and did it. South Carolina just made fun of them. That's what you saw on social media.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. This is absolutely crazy. Let's go ahead and run this. You have an Avenger that plays for Mississippi State. Look at that. He's over 93 from each side.
He's 92 left-handed, 97 right-handed. They call him a switch pitcher.
A switcher?
Switch pitcher.
Look, baseball. You want to talk about saving baseball? You
That's
got guys
insane.
like Shohei Ohtani. You got Odoo. So my thing is, why didn't you just have a ball in both hands? You never know which way it's coming.
Is this the future of baseball?
Is it? The switcher?
Is this the future of baseball?
There's a quarterback too that can throw it with both, that's ambidextrous. Like every once in a while, you see one of these lizard people that can do stuff like this. That is insane.
Yeah.
You want to talk about draft status? You know what we always say in baseball? Oh man, well they love lefties more. You know what they love more than lefties? Lefties and righties.
Boathies.
Yeah.
Boathies.
Boathies.
Write that.
That's my
Say
favorite.
that.
I
Say
mean,
that term. Say
Yeah,
boathies.
I mean, if I'm the Bears or Texans, I might be picking up the phone and be like, you saw this guy on Bryce Young
look.
this, Bryce Young that. But this kid's throwing 93 plus from both
Dude,
sides.
you're out here legitimately throwing 7 different kinds of smoke. But that's great stuff. There's some good finds there, Coney. All right, let's get to the bets. The Board of Education, friendship, life lost, love. And that thing you found in the back of your car you're afraid to tell the police about. All right. Yesterday, 1-1. Thank you, Baylor. The Bruins and the Oilers, Bruins, y'all go the Oilers go the whole third period down 3-2 and can't score a goal at home. I mean, geez, hire Gordon Bombay or something. Figure it out. Here's what I got tonight. Georgia playing Florida at home. No Castleton. All right, Mike White, former Florida coach, now at Georgia. 13 flavors of pissed, and they're +2. Give me the Dogs at home, even though it's basketball. Then my second bet, give me Tennessee at home, money line against Arkansas. Give me A&M money line. Give me Wake money line. Give me Kansas money line. That's +206, guys. I've hit 4 straight 4-leggers when it's come to show bets in college basketball. And the only way I can bet a 4-legger and feel good about it is if I use DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, because we all know the Booster Club is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. And like I said earlier, new customers can place $5 on any pregame moneyline bet, and you get 150 human American dollars in bonus bets if your team wins. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook, only with the code BOOSTER. Remember, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Shout out to Booster Club. By the way, did y'all like I tweeted out the Booster Bets tweet today with no form? We're done with that tracking form. I want the memes back. So if you're on social media, we're back with the memes, baby.
Meme life.
Getting to the Hall of Fame.
Life.
Getting to 12-0. Going to do a better job of tracking that. So those are my 2 bets. Blonde,
Yes.
Aw.
This is fun I'm taking today, boys.
You like to dance with the man with the
Dance
candles?
with the blind shoemaker. Give me the Indiana Hoosiers -5.5. You know why, David?
Because you don't believe in Iowa.
You're right.
Okay.
Although
They came through for you
Oh
last
boy,
time,
oh
dog.
boy, God, what's the bro? That was
Keegan
wild
Murray.
though.
Keegan Murray.
Murray.
The one in the NBA.
Yeah, that's Keegan Murray. Chris Murray is
Keegan's
in Iowa.
balling.
Yeah, dude, he was balling
In
in
the
Iowa,
NBA.
even though they absolutely fell
But
apart.
and he has no emotions.
No.
At all. Like, he'll hit a three and it's like,
Straight face. His
and just
brother's
run to the other
same way.
side. All right, then give me the Penguins. -1.5. You know who they're
Waddled
playing?
their way to a
Who are
victory.
they playing?
The Trash Predators.
They're playing the Preds? Where?
Preds
At
and
the
all their good
Preds.
players. Preds gonna fire their
Here?
coach.
At the Preds. At home.
Preds gonna fire their coach.
Good. He deserves to be.
Me too.
Big
I want
rebuild.
to personally fire him. Rumor has it they're gonna let me fire him.
Maybe they'll let you.
I don't know.
I want to be the coach.
Of hockey?
Let me drive the boat. Let me
Yeah.
drive
Good
the
luck.
Sounds
boat. Y'all know what that's from?
It's called a Zamboni.
Y'all don't know what that's from. Go ahead, David.
All right. 2-game parlay here. Clemson +6. Clemson +6. I'm really not believing in Virginia. I want to pair it with Marquette money line. Both those teams on the road, so let's see what happens. That's +144. And then I'm going to take the Tennessee-Arkansas under at 134, and the odds are at -110. I think we're going to play a lot of defense tonight, boys.
Yeah, I want to pair it too. Baby Cone,
No.
he wants to take A&M money line and Tech +9.5, which, God, I like that bet. Who does Tech have at home tonight?
Texas Tech. You talking about Texas Tech?
Yeah,
I think they're on the road at Kansas.
At Kansas? Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Hold
so A&M money line, Texas Tech on the road at Kansas. It's +9.5, or they're +9.5. That's Tech. That bet is +175. Then Iowa +5.5. Baby Cone thinking they're going to ride a little that lightning. Ride a little that lightning coming off that Michigan State comeback win.
Is this because I didn't come to Low Country Bowl?
That's
the
at
other weekend?
-105.
Texas Tech is at Kansas.
At Kansas. We'll see.
Texas A&M is at Ole Miss.
Yep. Which, again, man, Ole Miss, you talk about a roster that's going to be rated after this year. That Morrell dude from Ole Miss, if I'm Bruce Pearl, I'm calling like, hey, dog.
Master Bruce.
Need some scoring. All right, Booster Club, before we get out of here.
Gregory Perez wants to know,
Greg, what's up, buddy?
Are we watching the John Jones fight this weekend?
Yeah, if he can make it to the fight. I'm just hoping to get suspended before the fight. Like, we got what? What's today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
We got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got 3 days. Can John Jones last 3 days without getting suspended? Because when John Jones fights, it is must-see TV.
It's one of the best ever.
Yeah, it's must-see TV. It's just the dude can't get to the ring. Or the octagon. Just get to the octagon, dog, and I'll watch it. So, yes, Gregory.
All right, Chris E. says, can you imagine if a gorilla figured out how to lift weights and get gains? It's terrifying.
Well, here's the most terrifying part of that. If the gorilla figured out how to lift weights and gain weight, then 2 things are happening. 1, he's really, really, really smart. And number 2, he's preparing for something. Both of those outcomes scare me in ways I cannot begin to explain or attempt to conjure up.
You talk about gain-of-function research.
Yeah.
That's some function we don't need gain.
That's exactly. I've seen Rampage. All right. I don't want that. I don't want that smoke. I don't want some huge gorilla throwing barrels in my city. That's not what I want.
That's not what you want?
No.
Doesn't sound fun. Poll?
Poll.
Poll.
All right. Who would win in a 40-yard dash? Davey, me, or you?
Well,
Not me.
I mean,
look, this is a Booster Club.
I'll go Blaine.
Yeah, I mean, Blaine's got longer strides than me.
Blaine
will win
41%.
Yeah, I'll say Blaine 42%.
Me, 61%. David, 30. Cranium, 9.
Blaine, can you please explain why you put Crain instead
Yeah,
of
I
Jake?
know. I didn't mean to. It's just like we're
You're
brothers.
Crain
so
too.
we have to both-
Wait, y'all gave me 9%? Okay.
Now you want to race.
No, I want to make a bomb.
Don't say that.
You can't say
Don't
bomb on
that.
an airplane.
You can't say bomb on an
Yeah,
airplane.
we just got cut from
Jake.
YouTube. Just kidding.
Can't say
Well, thank God we're not on an airplane. But, by the way, I do want to say this. I totally forgot.
No.
That's all right.
I'll remember it at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm still trying to get her Millie, and Reed hadn't been there either. I love Reed, my fiance. Hadn't seen Millie in going on 2 days. My French bulldog, baby. It's hurting me, dog. Like deep down.
I feel you,
Pet
man.
Penny Lane for me tonight.
I will.
Is today's Ace's birthday?
Not his birthday. He's 18 months today.
Oh.
He's 18 today?
18 months.
Shit.
18.
Yeah.
How about that?
Time flies, bro.
It's a lot of months. That's crazy.
Year and a half.
Yeah, speaking about months, shouldn't take you months to subscribe. Make sure you turn on that notification bell. Hit that like button. We're dropping content all the time. Brandon Marcello, thank you. John Parker Wilson, thank you. Booster Club, thank you guys. Make sure you check out Cinch. Make sure you check out DraftKings as well. Use both those promo codes. Guess what? They're both Booster. We made it easy for you. And like the chances of Dak Prescott winning a Super Bowl, we're going. Gone.